Hello, everybody. Sunday morning, August 9th. The year has been a trip, to say the least. It's been an adventure. I hope everyone is getting by. I'm out here walking, trying to do it every morning. Can you live stream from a GoPro? GoPro 7? I think you can through the app, right? It's just another thing to hold. I can put it on my hat, I guess. That's an idea. Look dorkier than I am. I busted up my foot somehow back in the day, so I have to down some acetaminophen before I venture out. Otherwise, it's too much. All right, let's see what's going on in the news, guys. Let's see what's going on in the news. USA Today, serving up some local headlines based on my location. I'm guessing because the first one is on this particular list of news headlines: Ohio Republicans against Trump. He no longer deserves the consent of the governed. Ohio, let me read that again. Ohio Republicans against Trump. I guess I don't know enough about what's going on in Ohio. There's another one, Business Insider, 14 minutes ago. Wow. Trump lashed out at mega donor Sheldon Adelson in a recent phone call, prompting panicked Republican blah, blah, blah. Just reading the headlines, seeing if there's anything interesting. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of tired of politics. Why are there police cars everywhere all of a sudden? All right, let's keep going. QAnon goes mainstream. That's kind of the opposite of QAnon, right? Mainstream. QAnon, if you don't know, is well, let's don't go into it. Look up QAnon. It's take too long. Take too long to explain that. Diane Abbott in The Independent says even coronavirus won't stop the Home Office from deporting people. So I don't know. Let's look at that. Is this? Yeah, UK. Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's move on. I thought that was written, but let's move on. Belleville man killed in jet ski boat crash on Lake St. Clair. Okay, sorry about that, sir. Rest in peace. You just never know, right? I mean, you never know when your ticket's going to get punched. By the way, I'm editing now a video for YouTube and other platforms. What I do is I start out with a longer video, which I post to YouTube. This one is called 12 Types of People at the Dog Park. Now, and let me just say, and then I cut it up into smaller. Why were all those police cars there? There's like 2 police cars in that hospital. Then I cut it up into smaller videos for like Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and so anyway, look for that on the YouTuber sometime this morning. The others will be sprinkled throughout the next few days. The cut up sections. But you're saying, wait a minute, how many videos have been online called, dog park stereotypes, or there's another police car. Dang. 12, or not 12, but, dog park types, or people you'll meet at the dog park, which I understand. But since I'm at the dog park all the time with Cardell, I was just compelled to do it. So what I try to do is put a little different spin on it. It's all those videos, the stereotypes, and they don't. It's interesting. There's so many of them, but nobody's really adding anything. It's always the same joke, right? They're not putting any kind of creativity on it. So let's say at the dog park, it'll be they'll say, let me see if I can give you a good example. So the know-it-all busybody who tells everybody what they should be doing with their dog. Well, okay, and then they act it out, right? And it's fun. I get it. But they're all the same, Then the other group does the same thing. And there's different, they're different. Some are comedy groups, some are just dog people, some are just people, whatever. It's YouTube. There's 1,000 million videos. But the reason I mention it is that what I'm trying to do is, add some talent. No. No, what I'm trying to do is, actually, I kind of appreciate the amateur approach a little bit, just because I saw a guy doing types of cooks, not a guy. It was like these kids, like these teenage kids, types of cooks, and it was so bad. It was really good. I don't know. I can't explain it. They were so uninterested in making it professional. It actually was better than some professionals, just because it was so spontaneous. There was, some crazy things would happen, and they would just leave it in. A problem with that approach, of course, is it's hard to duplicate. So anyway, what I try to do is add a little bit more spin, right? Like a little bit more writing and conceptualizing and all that baloney. So, for example, instead of just the, what was the example I used? The example I used was the know-it-all busybody, right? Oh, your dog should be eating this. Oh, well, has your dog had their shots? You really need to update their shots. This guy or girl. You're looking at him like, who the hell are you? So I called him the mayor. He thinks he's the mayor of the dog park because he's telling everybody what to do. So I don't know if I succeeded, but I tried to come up with unusual things, they might say, or basically what I do is, and this style is evolving, this method is evolving. See if we're still rolling here. Check the time. Basically, I just have a short list of the stereotypes I want to talk about, or the characters, and maybe one or two notes, but really it's just a brief summary, like self-anointed expert or mayor of Dogtown. And then I try to improv. I turn the camera on, and then for the most part just improv it. And well, maybe not for the most part, for 95% of the part. You know what I mean? I guess that's most, right? I guess what I'm saying is it's almost all improv. So that I look at the notes, because I've thought of some funny, bit or angle, and I'll make sure I kind of look at that. So in the case of this video, which is actually kind of long, the video is like 26 minutes. So I started out trying to do 10 characters. I ended up doing 12 just to have a couple extra. And I suppose I could split that up into two. Maybe an idea. 26 minutes is pretty long, right? I can actually split it up into three. Let me see. That's maybe even a better idea. What if I have 12? So that'd be 4 people. 4 people you'll meet at the dog park. Or what I really should do is cut it down. Cut each one of them down. If there's 12, so that's about 2 minutes and some each, roughly average. Cut it down to 60 seconds each. But hopefully they're different. They're not the same jokes or same take. Like, there's a lot of, I love golf, play golf. There's all these videos, 12, or not 12, that's my thing. Things golfers say, golfer stereotypes, golfers you'll meet at the course, or types of golfers. You know, you've all seen these types of videos with all kinds of cooks and students and co-workers and realtors. But I think what they do is they just take the obvious that's apparent, and that's good enough for them, right? They don't really, it doesn't matter to them. That's the whole joke. You know, the realtor that steals everyone's leads. Well, that's enough. Then every realtor that watches the video understands. They immediately get the humor. The humor is they get it. Like, I'm not really explaining it right. There's no need to spin it any more than that. And then and I guess a lot of the humor would then extend on the execution. You know, and some are good. As I was saying the other day, like a lot of times when people do short point of views or short sketches, just using themselves, they don't change their voice for the other character or anything, or just minor things. And for the most part, it doesn't really matter. You get it. Guy had a video on TikTok the other day. It said applying to buy a Toyota Camry. You're like, what? So he says, the first character goes, yes, I'd like to apply to buy a Toyota Camry. And then he cuts to himself where he's turned his hat backwards, so he's the other character. And he goes, okay, well, let's go through the questionnaire and see if you qualify to buy a Toyota Camry. And then he goes, do you drive Uber? And the first character goes, no, why would you think I drive? Why would I think I drive Uber? And the second character goes, oh, okay. And it's obvious. I guess the joke is that the guy is buying a Camry. The only reason that you buy a Camry is to drive it for Uber. And he's avoiding saying that he is doing that. So it's kind of funny. But he uses the exact same, his normal voice for both characters. And I've done it, I'm not above it. I've done it, same thing. But I think even just a little inflection, like I did a thing called Waiter, let's see, Waiter Practicing Acting Roles on the Job. So it opens up on this waiter, or this guy standing there. You don't know if it's the waiter. But he's going, to dream or not to dream? That is the question. Or no, I don't know, to be or not to be. See, I don't even know. I'd have to. And then it cuts to me as the customer going, he does this dramatic monologue, short monologue, like 8 lines. And then it cuts to me as a customer and I go, nice. Well, I guess we're ready to order, and it goes on from that. So I didn't really change my voice like an accent or anything, but I use that actor voice, right? To be or not to be. So even just a little bit like that helps, I think, and is where maybe people could do more. And like I mentioned yesterday, actually, I don't think I posted that video. I got too busy to post yesterday's vlog out here walking. But I was talking about, there's a couple people on TikTok that do what I'm talking about. One of them was a groundlings member in LA, which is kind of like Second City. It's an improv group and sketch comedy group. If you don't know Second City, basically I mean like Saturday Night Live style comedy. and they teach you how to make great characters. And so you could tell right away that this lady on TikTok, I got to write down her name because I keep forgetting it. But she's really good at it. Using voices and facial expressions and body language. Whereas, like I say, a lot of, let's call them amateur or I don't know how they say it, but casual comedy producers will just stand in the same, they don't give it any kind of character building techniques that people learn in like sketch comedy classes and that kind of stuff, improv classes. She's really good. Jack Martin is pretty good, but he's an actor. You can tell he's been trained. They just have more confidence and they have more voice inflection and more body language. And you can tell there's a subtext. They understand the subtext of the character, like what they're really trying to say or what's really going on, Again, I'm not an improver or sketch comedy, but I have taken that training and so I sort of understand what they're doing. Jack Martin on TikTok. He's also on YouTube, but really you should see him on TikTok is where he's doing his best work right now. I think Jack Martin Comedy. And then I think it's Nikki Dobbs is the person's name on TikTok. And of course, they're usually, most anybody these days that is I don't know how to say it. I don't know if it's necessarily accurate, but it seems like when I say look up Nikki Dobbs on TikTok, you could probably also find her on, 5 other platforms. It seems like on TikTok, most of the people are also on Instagram. Or I find that a common reference. They'll go, well, it looks like they're taking TikTok away from us. Trump is going to cancel us. So, hit me up on Instagram. They give their Instagram. And then occasionally YouTube. Not so much, though. YouTube is not so much referenced off of TikTok. I mean, TikTok is younger than YouTube, so if that's possible. Actually, they're probably pretty close. Yeah, so Nikki Dobbs is good at it, too. She was doing a character yesterday. It was like a hick, like a female, a hick lady. That virus is a lie. Like she hits it pretty hard, right? She comes. This whole virus is a lie. And as I was saying in yesterday's video, which I haven't posted because God, I've been so busy. Maybe I'll throw it up today. The other thing that I see, let's say, casual comedians, everyday people, regular people, normal people. That's a better way to put it. Normal people. Non-comedian normal people. They a lot of times they undersell it, like I was saying. They're like, this is character number 1's voice, and this is character number 2's voice, and here comes character number 3. How are you, character number 3? Well, I'm good. Yeah, and it's the same voice, right? And sometimes what you see is the exact opposite. It's way overcooked. Yes, like slapstick almost, which is funny too. But for me, it wears me down after a while because everything is a lot of times, like on Vine, a lot of the skits would be, you know, actually kind of sexist in a way, but you know, uh, some kind of scene involving an attractive girl and a guy's with her walking down the street, and then here comes this other guy, and he bumps into the first guy, and the boyfriend guy's like, "What the hell?" You know, you, know, it's just I don't know. Oh, there's a guy on YouTube. What's that guy's name? He's pretty funny too. He does a lot of nerd stuff. I can't think of his name. Golly. Um, so yeah, that really super exaggerated. You see that a lot on TikTok too as well. Which actually, it wouldn't be bad if, like I said, but it's what they'll do is character one, character two, and character three will have the same voice, but it's like just really like exaggerated. And then the other person talks like that, you know. Well, and one of the things that really helped me at Second City was that it'll be funnier if one character, with a two-person scene, it'll be funnier if one character is low key and then the other one's up here, or vice versa, or, because it's the contrast is part of what makes it so funny. And so, and of course that's not an absolute rule, of which there is none in comedy. There's no absolute rule; it's whatever works. Because you could have two heightened characters too that makes it really funny. Two people arguing as the clock ticks down, and they got to defuse the bomb, and they're like, "You're gonna cut the wrong wire." What do you mean I'm gonna cut the wrong wire? Just the tension, and it just makes you start laughing because they're inept bumblers that are trying to keep from killing themselves or whatever it is. I think we should probably go back down to Victorian Village, I think. Hope I'm explaining all this correctly, or as I understand it. And the other thing that casual comedians online tend to not do is add enough detail. So it's kind of surface, right? Whereas if you add detail, they'll say, just using a poor example, they'll say, "I hit it with my 7-iron," and a more specific example would be, "I hit it with my 7-iron that I've had since I was 6 years old, and I've replaced every other club in the bag except that one. It's my favorite club. In fact, that club saved my life," or whatever. Or you're like, "What?" Or that's a bad example, but rather than just stating obvious things, they'll make it more specificity. In this dog park thing, one of the characters I came up with was basically like a clueless breeder. And it was just some guy that started breeding dogs without any expertise or training. Well, no, he did get some training from his cousin Slinky. So basically no training or knowledge. And So he says something like, "Yeah, I came up with a breed that was a cross between a Saint Bernard and a Jack Russell Terrier. I call it a Saint Jack Russell. Yeah, it's really good because the Saint Bernard part of him will pull you out of an avalanche, will dig you out and save your life. But then the Jack Russell part will just hop around, not knowing what to do when you're on your own." All right, not hilarious, not hilarious, but the avalanche, the whole thing, the specificity. Whereas you could have just say, he's half Saint Bernard, half Jack Russell Terrier. He lumbers around your house and knocks over things, and then yaps like a terrier. Like, what? you know? Okay, maybe that's funnier than my bet. Hey, I fully admit that I'd say 50% of my jokes don't land. I better run. Oh, you know. That's gotta have the fun. I'm considering using that a little more, like doing a hold on a bad joke, just doing a hold, and then say something like, "No, doesn't work," or something. I think it might be kind of funny, but you know. So if you look at, I'm uploading this to Twitch. If you look at right now, I'll have them deleted probably by the time anybody watches this later. But it took me a while to kind of figure out how to set up streaming from my desktop on Twitch and on YouTube. To get it initially set up isn't that hard, but to tweak it, like the audio, I found it, and I know audio pretty well. I know what I'm doing, but I still couldn't quite get it to where I wanted it, and I switched the mics, which helped. And anyway, I'm set up now. So if you looked on my Twitch profile right now, you'd see some test runs, which they tell you not to do, but because it just kind of clutters up the experience, I guess. I still haven't deleted them, so I'm not really concerned about it, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to be, I guess for the first time, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever streamed from the desktop. It's the last week. It's always been, the last 2-3 years, it's been just like this on my phone. You don't gotta wear, what did she say? The virus is a lie. The virus is a lie. Nikki Dobbs. The Groundlings lady, who I should know her name, but of course I don't remember. But I looked up her background, and she has training at the Groundlings in LA. And as I was describing yesterday, I think she does a great video on TikTok where she does this character WASP, woman, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant woman, WASP, basically like a Karen. I don't hear the word WASP much anymore, so that's why I'm describing it for if you're younger and you're like, what do you mean WASP? I really, you don't hear that word much anymore. uh, wasp woman at Starbucks. So it's from the standpoint you're basically the camera view is that you are the barista behind the counter, and she comes up. She's speaking directly into the camera. She says, "Hi, yeah. How are you? Great." Like you can tell her training. She starts out really nice. Hi. Well, listen. There is a dog barking outside. I know, and it's upsetting my child. And so, if you could just take care of that. What's that? You're not going to do? You're not going to do anything? So, I'm the customer. Let me make it a little clearer. I'm the customer, and the dog is upsetting my child out on the outside tables. So if you could take care of that for me, I appreciate it. So it's a little more assertive. And she goes, "Okay, I'm telling you, I'm t- I'm telling you, my 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 Janice is upset. She upsets easily. She goes into this whole thing. I'm telling you to take care of it. Okay, I'm gonna need your name." Like it keeps getting meaner and meaner. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. She's good at it. I might as well look it up right now. Can I look it up right now? Let's see. Let's see if I can find it. I'll look on my other phone here. Oops. Dang. All right, let's look. Oh, I'm not signed in on this phone. Oh, man. Dang. Oh, well. Tomorrow's stream, tomorrow's vlog, I think what I could do on that dog park thing is I have 12 characters. I only originally wanted to get 10 because as a video title, as a 10 is kind of a running. I have a lot of those 10 types, 10 this, 10 that, 10 ways, 10 things. So I kind of want to keep that just because it's an easy number. Because what I could do is, and it's long. I should edit it down, but I could just keep it long and put timestamps. That's where you can click, like in the description. You have the titles of the different characters with their the time at which they come on, and so all people have to do is click that number, click that, and it goes automatically right to that character in case they want to see different characters. You know, you see that a lot with albums. People put up full albums. I don't know how they possibly get away with that. They're putting up full albums online. I guess right away it gets claimed. I think that's what happens is that they put up the full album and then it's automatically claimed by the record company. And if they, which prevents them from monetizing it. And even if the record company allows monetization, generally that means that they get the monetization. Which makes sense. They should. They should. And the reason that they allow it sometimes, actually a lot of times, especially if it's an older album, it's not really, you know, it's they know that YouTube is the second largest search engine on the internet, and so it keeps their music out there for the fans that for the old fans and exposes it to new fans, younger fans, or other fans, or whoever, right? So they're not going to make a whole ton of money off of it anyway, because it's, they made most of the money when it was hot, but it gives them an income stream, and for the band, keeps their name out there, and helps with touring of retro acts. You know what I mean? Bands that go play at state fairs or smaller venues to keep touring and keep their fans happy and stuff. Having that on YouTube really helps. So it's kind of a win-win there, but that YouTube copyright system is kind of hairy, because anybody can. What happens is, or what has been happening, people that, like your enemy or competitor, will claim your video, or just an asshole will claim your video and say it's theirs, even though they might not have any claim at all, or a very little claim to it legally. But the way the system is set up, they can do that. Anybody can say, "Oh, that's mine. They took mine." They don't have to prove it. The burden's on you to prove it. It's your own thing. It might even be you on the like online, right? And then you can say, "I deny this claim. It's mine. I have all the rights. Sorry." Then they can counterclaim and just say, "No, I insist on my claim." All right. Even again, if they have no claim, so they're just trying to shut down your channel. Maybe that you worked really hard for over many, many years. So it's a little scary that random people can do that, but it's happened to a lot of people I know. And usually it gets sorted out, but you lose money. I'm not losing money, but because I'm not monetized. But big channels, they lose lots of money. I watched a video. That's, I think this is accurate. PewDiePie, probably the number one YouTube channel, or top 10 certainly. PewDiePie is making, I'll just round this off, it's close enough, like $200,000 a day. So I watched a video of his yesterday. It got 6 million views. So we can kind of do some quick math. So let's say he's getting $3 cost per thousand, which would be kind of low. But for these purposes, it'll give us an idea. So $3 cost per thousand, and every million views is a thousand. A thousand times three. So $3 for 1,000 times 1,000. So for every million, $3,000, and then times six, $18,000 on the one video. And he puts out one video per day. And I said $200,000 a day, so I'm way over. 18, so like $20,000 a day. Well, he's making a lot, but 6 million is a lot of views on one video. Yeah, my math is off. He's making a lot of money. Three would be pretty low. Maybe it's five, but even with five times $5 times 1,000, 5,000 times six, $30,000. Can you imagine? Can you imagine $30,000 a day? So let's use that number. 30 times in a month, $1 million a month. Rounding off. Wow. And I think that's low. Actually, 30,000. $1 million a month. I think that's a little low. But still, $12 million a year. Let's call it, 15 to 20 million dollars a year. Whew. That's a lot. That's a lot. It took him, I think he's been at it for like 12 years. Let's see, YouTube's been on the air maybe, I don't know, 2005, like the second half of 2005. And I think he got on there maybe 2010. Maybe 2010. So he's been at it like 8 or 9 years. He started out as a gamer, playing games online on YouTube. What they call Let's Plays. Let's Plays are like basically you watch somebody play a video game. Like Let's Play together, yes. And he built up a big audience because he wasn't just a good gamer, which I think he was a decent gaming talent, but he was a good character. He was funny. And also I think in his case, he seems to be a nice like a genuinely nice person. I don't mean like nice, oh, they're so nice, but just not full of crap like so many online people are, as evidenced by a lot of the YouTube drama going on right now. And he's gotten into trouble doing jokes. You can find that, but I don't even, well, I should say, but I don't know. I don't know where his heart was on that, but for the most part, he seems to be genuinely not full of BS. And I think that appeals to a lot of people because they can watch him every day, and he's it's funny, but also friendly. You know, it's like hanging out with a buddy in a sense. I think that's a big part of his appeal. And anybody like that. It's like, you know what I mean, man? You know what I mean, man? Somebody's already spamming my chat. Oh my god! Sunday morning, bro. You're spamming me. It's not even 9 o'clock. What time is it? It's 8:16 in the morning here in Ohio. It must be a bot. I can't imagine somebody's getting up this early unless they're in another country. Just to drop a spam link, it has to be a bot. It looks for open feeds, probably open streams. Well, let's give them some exposure. Okay, let's help them out. I mean, don't be mean. Help out these people. So here you go. It says, want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and views on bigfollows.com. There you go, bro. I gave you a shout out. Helping my spammers. I'm laughing. You can't tell, but I'm laughing. Oh man, see this place, restaurant for sale. That was a really cool restaurant. The table. Now these are like brothers right here. Eatery. Yeah, yeah. It's called Brothers Drake. I think it says Brothers Drake. I've never been in here, but this is a real popular place. The younger, the bar, the kind of college crowd, post-college crowd, and I'm just glad to see that they're not out of business. Just because the place across the street, the table, there looks like they're out of business. Has a for sale sign, restaurant for sale. But look at this place. See, I don't know if you can see it. There's a couple bikes in there. Your basic, you know, you get these outer, set your beer up there, outer shelves. But it's sad when these restaurants and everybody goes out of business because of COVID. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run. Stay in the alley because the street is so busted up. It's just too much work. No further comment from my spammer. Oh man, gave him a shout out and everything. No comment. The bots are so sophisticated now. They can post to like Twitter, like the Russian bots, and I guess China has a bunch of bots now on Twitter, or has had. They're pretty sophisticated. Maybe it's not that sophisticated, right? How hard is it to come up with a bot to post to Twitter? But they're remarkably prevalent. And they don't seem like cover it very good. The usernames are obviously bots. A lot of times the avatar, the photo, is a bot. It's kind of apparent. The things that they post don't seem quite natural. It seems very bot-like language use. kind of stiff. It's kind of overly effusive. Like, let's say, well, you get the idea. But they're remarkably prevalent. I was trying to think of the artificial intelligence project that got a lot of publicity lately. I finally re-looked it up. I think it's called GT3. OpenAI GT3. I'm pretty sure that's it. And which some are claiming now that the hype that came out a couple weeks ago about this artificial intelligence is overblown. But essentially, it's an update of an ongoing open source artificial intelligence project that got some buzz because it's much more advanced than the previous versions. And people were able to do some kind of amazing things. Like, artificial intelligence works on one of the things it needs is tons of data. The more data it has, then the better its results will be, because it can draw conclusions and use its brain on more outcomes, test more outcomes much more rapidly. That's a half answer. It's half right. So the data sets, one of the things about the latest versions of artificial intelligence is that the data sets are so much, look at that old truck, so much more extensive, to the point where this GT3 is able to write novels. Like, you give it a few characters and it'll write a novel. And fairly convincingly. It's not the chopped up English of the old school artificial intelligence. It's, makes sense. So there's a app I'm on Android, so for me it'd be the Google Play Store, but probably also on the Apple Store, the App Store, I guess I call it. To give you an example of this, there's an app called Scriptly, and you tell it, that's probably wrong, but you can tell it a line like, Dave walked into the bar with a gun, right? Just that little bit, and it will write a fairly convincing story. It takes that and it analyzes all the scenarios of all of the different stories that it has in its data bank and writes a story for you. And I think you could use that story as it is. I think they allow that. I'm not sure. I don't know how they couldn't allow it, because how could they ever prove it? Because every story is unique. Every time it generates a new story, it's a unique, So if you're lazy, now you got some free content. Just look up AI apps. I'm not sure, AI story generator apps. I'm sure there's more than one, probably. And is this bar closed? Are they gone? That's quite cool. How many years has it taken to be your own brothers and sisters and human beings? It says, how many years has it taken people to realize that we are brothers and sisters and human beings in the human and human beings in the human. Something. It says they're open. Uh, so that app will give you or similar apps will give you a pretty good idea of what is available now and what's happening in the artificial intelligence world. That's getting, the other thing that's kind of scary is look at this glass. It's cool, right? Oh, it's kind of textured. Interesting. Fireproof. It's the bar, right? Fireproof. Well, maybe not, because this is a storage. Oh, it is. Yeah, takeout. Yeah. So this is a restaurant, I guess. But this used to be a warehouse building that they've turned into either apartments or condos or both. See? The fireproof building. Constructed in 1909 and renovated for residential and commercial use in 2014. It was originally home to fireproof warehouse and storage. It used to protect personal possessions, meaning your junk. Steel doors, concrete walls. It was designated a civil defense fallout shelter during World War II. In 1922, the facade was cut back 10 feet due to the widening of High Street for increased automobile use, along with cable cars. This created the beautiful front structure we see today. Is it beautiful? Oh, it's, maybe they mean, I guess that's what they mean, right? The detail there. As the storage industry changed, the building transitioned into secure storage for business assets. Like, we get it, business assets. Then the fireproof building spans over a century of industry development and change, personifying the vibrant spirit of strength and innovation abundant in Columbus's short north community. And while we're talking about that, sometimes you hear Columbus referred to as the Arch City. Here's one of the arches. These were prevalent going across High Street in the early 1900s. They were made of wood, and then they were gone by, like, let's say 1925 or so. And then there was a push to bring them back because of the uniqueness of them for the city, and that's sometimes why you'll hear Columbus referred to as the Arch City. For example, there's a bar down here called the Arch City Tavern. It's actually pretty good food. Yeah, a little bit of slicing Columbus there. Slice of Ohio. Another slice of history. When I first moved here in 1984, the first meal I ever had in this town. Well, I lived here as a kid, so that's not entirely true. But anyway, 1984. The White Castle, right there. Across the street, it says White Castle drive-through. This building. And this is kind of a sad story, in my opinion. That used to be one of the initial White Castles, one of the very first ones. And I thought for a long time I thought it was the first one, but somebody told me it wasn't. Either way, a classic old school White Castle. They look like, so White Castle hamburgers are old school hamburgers that started in Columbus and had these white buildings, still have these white buildings. And then I heard, oh yeah, they're going to knock it down and put up these condos or apartments. I'm like, what? Are you nuts? Why would you do that? That's just, I don't know. That's just super dumb. So they said, well, no, they're going to retain the restaurant inside the building, which is what you have there. But why would you do that? How many classic, original White Castles are there, from 1920s or whatever it was, 19, probably what? Oh, here, let's look it up. White Castle hamburgers.
Here's some information about White Castle.
What kind of meat is in White Castle? It says. I don't know. That doesn't sound like it's. What are they putting in there, man? Yeah. Wow. 1921. Look at me with the knowledge. It began with an idea. This is from whitecastle.com. In 1921, Billy Ingram launched a family-owned business with $700 and an idea. Selling 5-cent small square hamburgers, so easy to eat. They were dubbed sliders and sold by the sack. 1921, bro, right here in Columbus. That's our McDonald's. I think this is, we're coming up on Arch City. We might have passed it. Let's see. Let's go up here. I think it's up here. Arch City Tavern. See? Arch City Tavern. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We call that a stream. Little history, little technology, a little bit of comedy talk.